Welcome back to the Her Fertility Podcast. You are all loving the library. And if you don't know what I'm talking about in this podcast episode, I'm going to share more details about a product that I very silently launched this week that I am getting tons of positive feedback on. This idea that motherhood is in your future and you feel that in your soul. Regardless of your fertility journey, you know that you want to be a parent someday. Whatever it looks like for you, you know that in your heart, deep in there. And that's what makes this journey so unique. It's because it's a deep soul desire that you have. And yet there's so much out there that really messes with our mind. And there's a lot on this journey that is hard. And it's very easy to fall into this spiral of not just negativity, but of then identifying with others' negativity. And you end up in this place where you feel like you are under like this heavy blanket or this pile of rocks or whatever that feeling is for you, where it just feels really heavy. And it's almost impossible to get out from underneath that on your own. This is a library of resources. There's so much goodness in here where you on your own can access a guided meditation, a body movement exercise, something that feels really good for you in that moment. And you can do it to help you get out from underneath that heavy weight on your fertility journey. I really wanted this to be something that you could do from anywhere, at any time of day, for as long or as short as you have the time for. And in this podcast episode, you are going to hear the introductory video so that you can really understand more of the psychology and the science that's really behind this program, because it is specifically curated for the fertility journey. And on my own experience with infertility, I found a way to support myself in a similar vein. I had been trying to get pregnant for over a year and it wasn't happening. And so I decided to invest in myself, and I invested in a year-long yoga membership. And I was dedicated. I would go every single morning that I could. I rode my bike to the yoga studio. I took an early morning yoga class, and then I rode my bike to work. I would shower at work and get ready, and then I would go to work. And I did that religiously as much as I could. And I was that person in yoga sobbing on their yoga mat. And I would hide in the back corner, and I would sometimes just lay there, letting the tears fall out of my face, because it was my space and my container for all of the energy that was in my body. And it was frankly really embarrassing, but I had so much emotion in my body that I needed something. So this became my thing. Looking back on that experience, I'm really proud of myself for giving that to myself, right? Like giving myself a container. But it was pretty embarrassing, and I have not returned to that yoga studio since that time of my life, mostly out of embarrassment. But at the time, it's what I needed. And that is how this program was born. So this library of resources for you, just like my yoga studio was for me, but without the embarrassment of having to process all of that in front of other people. This is for the person who likes to do things on their own. This is for you. This is a library specifically curated for this journey. It is a low cost because I want it to be available for anybody who wants to access it. You can use it for as long or as short as you need it, and it is your container for this fertility journey. So you're going to hear a deep dive on really the science behind why this works and why this supports you, because most of us think we just need to stress less or stay positive, but there is so much more at play on a fertility journey that we really need to understand what's going on inside the mind and the body. And so listen all the way through to the end to get that information. Check out the show notes below. I would love to be able to support you with this tool. Welcome to this introductory first video. If you are new to meditation or new to my style of meditation, then I want to give you 3 quick notes that will set you up for success as you navigate this library. The first is that the term meditation can be applied across all types of different modalities. Meditation at its core simply means becoming present in this moment, which frankly is easier said than done. So if at any point you are watching a video or listening to an audio and you're just feeling like you're doing it wrong, or this isn't for you, or some negative emotion is becoming present, all you have to do is become present in this moment. The reason that meditation is so powerful and all of the research we have around meditation is showing this is because our minds are really good at living in the past and the future. And emotions like fear can only really live in the past and in the future, unless, of course, in this present moment, we are actually facing danger in the present moment. The majority of the time, that fear is living in the past around something that has happened, or in the future, thinking or worrying about what will happen. So when we can bring our focus and our attention into this present moment, that becomes what really actually is, and it is a beautiful place to land. However, we are fully conditioned to, again, be in the past or in the future all of the time in our mind. So it can feel like a lot of effort to just be present, and that is okay. There is no perfect here. There's no like you get present and then you stay present forever. I wish that was the case. But as somebody who has been doing meditation for years, I can tell you the mind is something that is wild. It's just a wild thing we got going on up here. And different days bring different experiences, and there's no end goal here. There's no perfect. There's no A+. Instead, it is a beautiful practice to come home to yourself, to become present to this moment. And when you do, those emotions that live in the past and the future can melt away. So if at any point during a video you're feeling overwhelmed by a negative emotion or uncomfortable, all you need to do is become present in this moment. A couple ways that help me do that are, 1, focusing on the feeling of my breath. If I can just focus on the feeling of breathing in and out and focus on that, I can become present to what's happening. Another trick is listening, especially if you're somebody that's more auditory. Just being still, maybe closing your eyes to let that sensation go, and just hear what you hear that you didn't hear before. Can you hear something new? Maybe there's a car passing by, or if it's at night, maybe you hear a cricket chirping. Just becoming aware of what you're hearing is a good way to become present to this moment. And then another tool to use is your vision. So some people like to use a candle for this, but you can focus on one object in front of you and just focusing your gaze on that object for the length of the video, or set a timer and you can have that present moment where you're looking at something. Those are all really beautiful ways to use the intelligence of the body to become present. Now, my next point is all about this beautiful mind that you have working. Now, we have a brain, which is the physical part of what's inside here. And then we have our mind, which is our thinking brain. And then we also just have this self. And the self, there's other names for it, but the self is you who is aware of the fact that you're having thoughts in your mind. So this looks like you experience a thought and then you have awareness of that thought. And what's really beautiful about having this awareness, which becomes easier when you're present in the moment, is you can start to separate yourself from that thought. Now, don't get too in the weeds with this. One of the things that becomes really clear on a fertility journey is that our thoughts sometimes feel like they're on repeat, or they're in this constant loop, or they can't be turned off, or they're spiraling in a way that we would like them to not spiral. Now, this is unique for everybody, and every day can be very different. But in this introduction video, I want to give you a few nuggets of information so that you can start to have more awareness around what's going on in your mind, because the more you know, the more power you have. So the mind has two central functions, the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. And the subconscious mind is responsible for the majority of thoughts that we have. It's upwards of 90+% of the thoughts we have are coming from our subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind's job is to keep you safe. That's its main priority in life. So as we're growing up in the world and we touch the hot stove, the subconscious mind is recording that as like, yikes, don't do that again. And in order to keep you safe in the future, you will not touch a hot stove, right? To keep you safe. Well, the subconscious mind continues to do that recording your whole life. And anything that feels painful, it's going to record as like, yikes, that's not for me. Let's not do that again. The challenge with fertility is we continue to push for the thing that we're desiring, right? For most people, that's to have children. And in that effort, we sometimes have to do the same thing that caused us pain in the past. So whether that's taking a pregnancy test, and last time it was negative, and that felt terrible, and you have to take another pregnancy test, and you're like, man, your mind is going to tell you through emotions that this is unsafe, that this doesn't feel good, because its job is to keep you safe. And that is the primary reason why we feel so many of the emotions that are frankly unwanted, right? We don't choose to feel this way on this journey, but this is part of the journey. And so having this awareness of how the mind is working can really help you start to understand that this is not you. There's nothing wrong with you. And I hope that this lands where it needs to land for you. There's nothing wrong with you. This is a journey that you did not expect to be on. And your mind and your body, they're just doing their job. And you're doing as much as you can to support yourself. And I know that because you're here in this amazing library of resources to support yourself. So as you start to watch the videos, and as these feelings come up, because they will, and they're going to come up in different ways on different days, that's totally normal. And all they need is to be acknowledged. So you know that it's not you. You know that you are not an angry person. You are not inherently full of fear. This is something that is trying to keep you safe. And when it comes up during a video, use the breath to just let it come out and go into another space that is not you, right? Acknowledge it and let it go. And everybody has their own way of doing this. So I want you to explore what feels really good for you. And when I work one-on-one with people, we do a lot of this, like exploring what really feels good for you. So as you're watching the videos, I encourage you to kind of explore what feels supportive for you and maybe what isn't for you. And then my third and final point is all about the nervous system. The nervous system touches all of your other systems, and it is essential to our understanding of this idea of fight and flight. Your nervous system has two functions as well. There's the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. And don't get confused. I like to think of the parasympathetic as like a parachute that's going to catch you. So the parasympathetic is your rest and digest. This is our normal state of being that human beings are designed to be in, where all of our systems function as they should, on their own, in conjunction with each other. I like to think of our systems as a symphony where each instrument has its own unique sound, but together they make a beautiful piece of music. But when one instrument is off, the whole song sounds off, right? So I like to think of that as our body systems as well. And so that's our parasympathetic. Our symphony is sounding beautiful. Now, the sympathetic nervous system is also known as fight and flight. It's also called fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Essentially, this is our nervous system's way of reacting to danger. So similar to the mind having its subconscious and conscious parts, the nervous system has its own way of reacting to danger as well. Now, the challenge with the nervous system is, one, we don't know what state it's in. There's not like a red light that goes on when we enter the sympathetic nervous system, right? Like, it's not like, bing, you're stressed. Now, when it's there long enough, we know our signs of being stressed. For some people can handle a lot of stress and it takes a long time. Some people have awareness of their stress earlier on, but there is no indicator that tells you. The other challenge with the sympathetic nervous system is that it reacts whether there is actually a threat or the threat is perceived. And this is where the mind and the body start to really become connected. And this would be an extremely long video if we went into all of the details on that. But in a nutshell, when your body's system feels threatened or perceives a threat, then your mind is going to start reacting to that. Your systems are going to start reacting to that. They are not going to function optimally. And you can imagine the different outcomes that are possible. So, what this library is designed to do, specifically for the fertility journey, is to help you pop out of your sympathetic and into your parasympathetic more easily, effectively, and as quickly as possible. And all it takes is for you to be fully present with the videos. So I encourage you, when you come in to watch a video or listen to an audio, that you give yourself that time and that space. Most of these videos are pretty short, under 10 minutes, and giving yourself the space and the grace to have a full presence with that. And if it's not possible, you just come back a different time. But being able to give yourself that is going to allow your nervous system to fully come back into the parasympathetic state, or your rest and digest, your normal, happy state. Okay, so with all of that, I am so excited for you to jump in. I would love to hear from you. Which of these are your favorite? Which one do you like to play over and over? Or if you're someone who likes to try them all for different days and different flavors. So please connect with me on social media. You can always send me an email, whatever the best form of communication is for you. I would love to hear from you. And with that, let's begin. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Her Fertility Podcast. Your support means the world to me, and I am so grateful that you are part of this community. If we aren't already connected on social media, please come find me at herfertility.support. And you can check out the show notes below for more information on the library.